IVM.
Hello guys, if you like IVM Likes, you should also check out this great show on IVM called GayBCD. It's hosted by two fun guys, Farhad and Shinetro, and they discuss the ABCD of all things queer. Join them as they banter about life, they talk about their day-to-day experiences about being queer. It's a show that will expand your experiences of what queer people go through in India. So check it out. It's on the IVM network. You can check it out on the IVM podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts. The new episodes are out every Tuesday. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of IVM Likes. My name is Abbas. In case you're listening to this show for the very first time, IVM Likes is a show where the IVM staffers get together. They give you cool recommendations about what you can read, watch, listen, etc. And every once in a while, we get someone from the IVM family onto the show who's a host on our show. And today is one such day. But before that, let me quickly introduce my fellow producers. I have with me Abhineet.
Hey guys.
And Shlok.
Hello everyone.
And with me, I have Karthik Iyer, who's a co-host, one-third of a football show called Football Shootball. Welcome,
absolutely.
Karthik.
Thanks, Abbas. It's great to be sitting here with Abhineet, with Shlok. It's awesome. This will be fun. Yeah.
This is a non-sports podcast. Very frankly, I'm a sports novice. The only sport I kind of follow is cricket, and that's only when a big tournament comes around. But Abhineet here produces Water Player, which is another sports podcast.
And also Edges and Sledges.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
And Shlok produces Football Shootball.
Yes.
So Shlok, how is Karthik as a host, very honestly?
Oh, Karthik is, he's a delight, for sure. I can say that.
Were you saying the same thing before the show?
So there's this thing, Abbas. So I record from Bangalore. And my fellow co-hosts, Gaurav Sapre and Shivram Parmeshwaran, they sit here in our studio in Bombay. We always have Skype issues.
Okay.
At some level or the other, and I can feel their anger towards me through the laptop.
Right.
But somehow, whenever I come to the studio, everyone's smiling, everyone gives me a good time here.
Right.
So.
Nice. So why podcast? Like, are you someone who listened to a lot of podcasts? Is podcast and sports something that go together? I mean, what's your overall thoughts about that?
I love podcasting and listening to podcasts. So being from Bangalore, my travel time is a lot.
Right.
It is a lot. And I'm not a music person. I've never really felt the need to listen to the same Billboard top 40s of the world. And so I love sport in general, football more so. And a lot of podcasts out there, particularly from the UK and where I work as well at ESPN. I usually put it on if I'm traveling if I'm driving, or if I'm taking a Volvo to work, or even if I'm cycling to work. It's always been something that I love listening to. Apart from sports, I think crime is a genre that's done superbly.
Nice.
Of course, Serial got probably all of us sitting here into investigative journalism on podcasts. And ever since then, I think podcast has been something that I make sure that I listen to in my 1.5 hours of travel each day.
1.5 hour one way?
One way.
Okay.
Nice. While coming back, it's a little lesser because I leave very late from work. So it's about 40 minutes.
Okay.
It's about 2 hours daily on average.
I'm going to Bangalore.
Let's hope you make it back.
I can reach Lonavala in that much time.
But it's a kind of a, not an off-topic question, but you said you work for ESPN. Is there something as too much sport? Like, I'm sure you're involved with sport at your workplace, and then you're saying you listen to a lot of podcasts about sport, or is it just you love this, so the more the better?
I don't think currently I've reached that point of fatigue as yet, and it's also because I try and watch multiple sports.
Right.
Like, I love cricket, I love tennis, I love football. I watch the UFC. I'm watching the Rugby World Cup currently, although I don't understand the rules.
Okay.
I don't get it sometimes.
Right.
I know a match is called a test, so it's like cricket.
Okay.
And 3 tries is a hat-trick, so then again there is a cricket reference there. But I just love the feeling of watching a game on television or live.
So let's say a sport like rugby, how do you decide which team you're supporting?
I think All Blacks, the New Zealand side, are the most successful, so I've just taken that up as my the favourites, basically.
Right. Yeah. Cool. So Football Shootball releases every Wednesday, which is the same day as this episode of IVM Likes. So in case you're listening to this on a Wednesday, as soon as you're done listening to this, give a try to Football Shootball. You host this with Gaurav Sapre and Shivram Parmeswaran.
Talking about that, Shivram was our guest on What a Player Today.
Right. Which also releases on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So exactly. Wednesday is like the Football Shootball takeover.
IVM. Mega crossover something.
Nice, cool. All right. So with that, let's dive into the recommendations we're going to do. The first half on IVM Likes, we give out pop culture recommendations. So Abhineet, why don't we start with you? What do you have?
Okay. Being this somewhat sports thing, I'm recommending
This wasn't planned. It just happened to be.
Yeah. So, I'm recommending a mobile game called Baseball 9. Okay. 9 is in the number 9.
Right.
I love scrolling through the Play Store. Okay. I don't know why, but I love that. And I love trying out new apps. So I just saw this icon and I thought, let's give this a try. And
Wait, what was it about the icon that attracted you?
It's a cartoon thing. Okay. A person, a face just holding a baseball.
Okay. The animation is pretty good on that. Huh.
It's not good.
Not the animation, the artwork was really good.
No.
Is that why you were attracted?
Maybe.
Okay.
I just could feel something. So this is what it looks like.
It's like your basic anime, manga kind of face, Yeah.
So what happened was I downloaded that game and I don't know anything about baseball. So when I was a kid as in 4 or 5, I had this video game where I had this baseball game. It just said baseball.
Right.
And all I had to do was bowl and then bat.
Right.
So this was your form of cricket.
Exactly. But it's in a fun way. There's no fielding.
Yeah, makes sense. But something about baseball, I'm like you, I don't understand the sport too well, having never played it or been in the United States of America. But it seems to me that it's more boring than cricket, which I thought would never happen. Like, how can a sport be more boring than another sport where you can play for 5 days and not have a result?
Right.
Like, it stuns me. But there's people who go and watch, so I'm sure. I'm guessing the game was fun.
Yeah, the game is fun. The mechanics of the game is fun. You just have to try out you can try different shots. You can. The main thing is all these characters, they have the same face.
the face which attracted you to
they have the same face. It's just a mustache or a beard or something, and maybe the color sometime, but they have the same face.
Okay. So what is it about the game that you find enjoyable?
I don't know, the mechanics maybe.
And you can bowl and bat on the game, or only
you can. You have different variations in bowling. I don't know what
maybe pitching.
Pitching. So you can pitch different sort of pitch, and then you have a couple of options when you bat.
So the funny thing about this, you mentioned pitch, but baseball is a sport where the ball does not actually pitch.
Right.
They throw it direct. So it just seems so strange to me.
No, it seems I don't like this game.
Karthik has talked. The first time ever someone has talked someone out of a recommendation on IVM Likes.
So I recommend this game. You can download this on Google. You can play this on Android, and then you also have iOS thing. Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna go with your word and give it a try.
Yeah, you like it. You like it. Definitely.
Baseball 9. Right?
Baseball 9. Cool. Cool. I'll go next. I have a movie to recommend. It's a movie called Point Blank. It's a Netflix original. So this is not one of those prestige Netflix things which has gotten a lot of acclaim or anything. It's a fun 90-minute romp which you can. I watched this after a long day at work. I wanted to unwind, so I put this on. It's your average action thriller. It stars Anthony Mackie, the guy who is Falcon in the MCU movies. And it also, his co-star is the guy who played Crossbones in Winter Soldier. So they are the main two guys.
And Anthony Mackie is the new Captain America. Didn't he give him the shield?
He's supposed to be the new. He's supposed to star in a new Disney Plus series, if I'm not wrong. In this particular movie, though, he plays a nurse. The movie starts with a crime scene which we don't directly see. We see it, it's sort of hidden from us. And the next thing we see is this character runs out and he's running from the cops. Next thing we know, he gets in touch with the Anthony Mackie character who's a nurse. So basically, he's a nurse who has a pregnant wife. He's your basic American hero, the average American who gets embroiled in between cops and robbers and thieves. And the next thing we know, it actually becomes like a buddy cop kind of a movie. Only it's not a cop, it's actually a bad guy on the run with a decent person beside him. And through the movie, they create a sort of a bond.
Oh, okay.
And there are some twists and turns along the way. The twists and turns are kind of predictable, but there are some movies where you kind of like when the predictable thing happens. So there's a very cool action sequence set in a car wash, which is really nice. It's a fun romp film. It has got a lot of chase sequences, shootouts. The climax is kind of disappointing, but still I think it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It's called Point Blank. Not very long. Like, it's not even 90 minutes. I think around the 85-minute mark, the end credits start rolling. So Point Blank, check it out. It's a complete paisa vasool type of entertainment.
Yeah, I have a question. It's a hypothetical thing.
Sure.
What if your best friend, you have been friends with this person, it's been maybe 5-6 years,
right,
and then you find out that this person is a criminal,
right?
What would you do? Like, will you still be with him?
Depends on the nature of the crime. What's the crime?
Is a serial killer or something?
Wow. Oh, okay.
But never caught.
You asking what do I do?
Will you turn him in,
okay,
or would you be still friends and like, ठीक है, मैं भी पैसा लूँगा साथ में?
How long have I been friends with this person?
5-6 years, roughly.
5-6 years.
Is there a reward for turning him in?
No. And you are really close to this person.
Right. So if he's a serial killer who has killed like really shitty people, then I would give him a pass. And not turn him in. But if I'm like... If he's killed like innocent people, then what? In either case, I won't turn him or her in. I'll just distance myself from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Abbas is pretending to be friends with Dexter.
Yeah. I mean, say anything. Dexter was great at his at serial killing. So yeah, but why are you a serial killer?
Do I look like serial?
Well,
what are you using it?
All right, cool. That was my recommendation. Karthik, what do you have for us?
I mean, you mentioned killing and going along the same lines, I think one of my... Again, it's not because I work for ESPN, right, but an ESPN 30 for 30 film that I saw long ago was The Two Escobars.
Okay.
It draws a parallel between, of course, the quote-unquote drug lord Pablo Escobar,
right,
and a Colombian footballer called Andres Escobar. This guy was touted as one of, if not the best Colombian footballer. Then he was a defender. In 1994, during the World Cup, he scored an own goal.
Okay.
Which knocked his own team out of the World Cup because of that own goal. And then, I think a month or so later, in a bar in Colombia, he was shot dead.
Okay.
By people with links to the drug mafia, which was then controlled by Pablo Escobar.
Right.
So it's a beautiful film drawing parallels between the rise of both Andres Escobar as a footballer, as a lovely young church-going boy who had just been signed by AC Milan, which is a giant of the game. He was just going to move to Europe. And Pablo Escobar, of course, who is his rise in Medellin and Colombia as a whole. And it draws a lovely parallel between the two. It's a sad story. It's a tragic end to an extremely budding footballer. But I think if anyone there has not seen it, I do not. I saw it on YouTube. I saw it when it was, I think, I don't even know if the print was...
Legit,
yeah. But I don't think you get it there now. Maybe when Disney Plus comes out with the ESPN series, it'll probably be there. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but find it, go check it out. It's an awesome movie bringing sport and society in the same place.
Called?
The Two Escobars.
Two Escobars. Didn't ESPN also do the O.J. Simpson 8-part miniseries? That was also really good. Cool. What do you have for us, Shlok?
Okay, so I'm again going with a short film.
Okay.
This is a 1989 American short film. It's called The Lunch Date. It's by Adam Davidson. He's written and directed it. This won the best short subject in 91. It's an Academy Award. Yes, Academy Award. And in 2013, it was selected for preservation by the US National Film Registry because it was by the Library of Congress because it was culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. Yeah. So this film is about this lady. She's trying to catch a train, and you can see she's well dressed. She has a shopping bag, so fairly well to do. Yeah. She bumps into a dark-skinned man on the way, and she's dropped everything, and he's trying to help her out very genuinely, but she's like repulsive to it, so she's scared, so kind of tells us something about her character. She eventually misses the train, realizes she doesn't have a wallet on her, so she's completely flustered. She goes to buy a salad from some spare change, and that's where from there the series of events is what shows us the general prejudice that people had at a certain time. I mean, it's not like it's gone now, but you know what I mean by how the culture was at one point and how from where this prejudice comes from, and that it's this film is more like a reality check, not just for the character in it, but even for the audience who think that the story is heading in a particular direction, but at the end it's just slapped to the other side. Okay. So I would not like to give spoilers right now, but you all should definitely go watch it. I watched it in my college, so I think you should find it on YouTube or Daily Motion or one of these.
How long is the film?
So this is around 12 minutes.
Oh, okay,
and what's it called again?
The Lunch Date.
The Lunch Date. So that was Shlok's recommendation. Let's quickly recap what we recommended. Abhineet, you recommended?
I recommended the mobile game called Baseball 9.
Cool. I recommended the Netflix film Point Blank. Karthik?
I recommended the Two Escobars.
I recommended The Lunch Date.
Nice, cool. So at this point, we'll take a short break. When we come back from the break, we will talk about our favorite sports movies and what we think about sports movies in general. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you are not following us on social media, please make sure you do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram was a big week for us this week. We crossed 10,000 followers. Also, you should check out the kind of stuff that we do over there. Get a look into the studio. And, see some of the quotes and stuff like that come out. And audiograms and, all that other kind of good stuff. So, let me tell you about 2 new shows that are coming up, right? So, the first one let me talk to you about is GabyCD. This show is hosted by Farhad and Sunetru. They share the ABCDs of their queer lives and dig into the memories and experiences. Tune in for a new episode every week on Tuesdays. Another show we're really excited to bring you is called Feeding 10 Billion. This show is hosted by Good Food Institute's Varun Deshpande and Ramya Ramamurthy. They talk to experts in the food industry about rethinking protein and reimagining food systems in India. New episodes out every Tuesday for this show as well. Also, Simplified is completing 150 episodes. My God, I can't believe that we're already there. They need your help to celebrate this milestone. Send us theories, concepts, or questions that you have using the hashtag Simplified150 on Twitter, or send us a DM on Instagram. And Chuck, Naren, and Shriketh will answer your questions on episode 150. On The Seen and the Unseen, Amit is in conversation with journalist and author Akshay Mukul. They deep dive into his book about the Gita Press. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam is joined by founder and CEO of Markets Mojo, Dr. Mohit Patra. They talk about minimizing risks and maximizing returns and understanding investment behavior. On the Empowering series, Zarina is joined by celebrity fitness coach Bakr Nasser. He talks about the importance of exercising and how he started his own indoor cycling studio, Topspin. On Vartalab, Akash and Naveen talk to Tejinder Singh, the man behind the popular Insta handle Kamakha Photo Artist. On Golgappa, Trupti is joined by Monica Godbole, who shares her experience working on the set and how she found her passionate calling to creativity. On Pulyabazi, Saurabh and Pranay talk to Divyanshu Poddar, co-founder of Rocketeers, India's first solid fuel-powered model rocket kit manufacturer. On Kinetic Living, Coach Urmi shares a workout routine called Seated Twisted on Tabata Tuesdays, and on Thriving Thursdays, she highlights the benefit of nutrient-dense foods. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
And we're back on IVM Likes. I'm still here with Abhineet, Shlok and Karthik, the host of Football Shootball. My name is Abbas, and in this half, we're talking our favorite sports films, sports and cinema, because of the nature of triumphalism and defeat. They kind of go hand in hand. We're going to have a general discussion about what we think about sports movies, what we like about them, what we dislike about them. And who wants to kick this off? Karthik, since you're the resident sports person here, take it away. What you recommended a very wonderful documentary in the first half. What else comes to your mind when you think of sports films?
Actually, the first thing, Abbas, that came to my mind was in the previous segment when you said predictability is not bad. Right. When you're talking about Point Blank, was it? And if you look at sports films, they're all predictable. Right. You know this guy is going to probably score the winner at the end of the movie, and they're more often than not based on actual events. Yeah. So you know what's going to happen. Right. it doesn't take anything away still from the cinematic experience of a sports movie at all. And I think the first thing that pops in my mind, this has been probably for every sports fan across the world. We don't even follow baseball, but Moneyball, the Brad Pitt film, because it brought so much of analytics and scouting and things that you don't really hear of. He played this guy called Billy Beane, Brad Pitt, who was manager of the Oakland Athletics, a baseball team, and he took them on a great winning run using this technique that is now known as Moneyball, where they scout and buy a certain type of player that the team needs. So it's an individual, but it's part of the collective. It's a beautiful story. Towards the end of the story, I'll probably give a few spoilers away because I said sports are predictable.
8 years ago. So
so I think we're past the embargo. So it's fine. But so Oakland Athletics go on this amazing undefeated run. They don't qualify for the finals at the end, but he gets an offer. Billy Beane gets an offer from the Boston Red Sox. Then he refuses the offer to stay in Oakland. The Boston Red Sox then follow his same principle of Moneyball to become the team they are today, which is a mecca of all baseball teams, probably.
So, when you guys were on Cyrus Says, which is an episode you also should check out, listeners, you mentioned the role of the coach or the manager, especially in football, is very different from what it is in, let's say, cricket. The stereotype that we have in our mind, at least I do as a casual viewer of cricket, is the coach does that, coaches you or teaches the players, probably fine-tunes their weaknesses and so on and so forth. Whereas in a football or a baseball, there is so much more involved. There is so much of trading of players and how a team stands where it stands. It's a very, like a cinematic position, that of a manager or a coach in other sports.
No, absolutely, yes. And I can recommend another film. It's called The Damned United. It shows Brian Clough, a legendary manager for Leeds and I think Nottingham Forest, a player for Leeds and a manager for Nottingham long ago.
He managed Leeds as well.
He managed
That's
Leeds as well.
That's where his downfall was.
Yeah, and he has this amazing line in the movie. Now, I don't know if it's urban legend or Brian Clough actually said it, but he goes on to say that I'm probably not the best coach in the world, but I'm in the top one. So, I mean, if that doesn't
sounds
sell
like
the movie
a screenwriter, but I'll go with it. Abhineet and Shlok, what comes to your mind when you think of sports and cinema together?
Okay, I'm going Bollywood this time.
Of course you are.
So, please don't hate me.
Abhineet, by the way, genuine Himesh Reshamya fan. He's someone who loves Bollywood, so go ahead.
Yes. So there was this movie called Dhan Dhan Gol.
Yes, John Abraham,
Arshad Varsi,
yes.
Boman Irani.
Okay.
I love this movie.
Okay.
So I am assuming most of you listening already know what this movie was, what the story is, but I'll give you a bit of.
Can I guess the synopsis? This is what I vaguely remember.
Okay.
Is so Arshad Varsi, John Abraham are Indian players who play for a British club.
Yeah.
And
South Hall.
What happens next?
Okay. Have you seen this movie?
I have.
I love that reaction.
So what happens is Arshad Varsi is playing for a different club and John Abraham is playing for
two
a
different clubs.
Yeah,
okay.
Initially.
Okay.
And initially John Abraham
is one of them a Pakistani and one an Indian? No?
Yeah.
It is like that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm just remembering stuff.
Yes. So what happens is John Abraham is shown as a very arrogant and like he's shown as a jerk in the movie.
Okay.
And then eventually he turns around, he comes to this Arshad Varsi club and then they start playing and then
South Hall United.
South Hall United wins.
Yeah.
Oh, unity in diversity.
Yes.
And the win is also very dramatic. He's beaten in the face like he's gonna die and everything. He'll shoulder the ball in while getting punched in the face and then he falls down. Wow,
so I was talking to Antariksh about this movie and he said the best part of the movie is Arshad Varsi is not kicking the ball into the goal. He's just kicking the ball onto the what do you call
the
that?
frame of the goal? Yeah, the
bars,
post.
Goal post.
Yeah, and there's one scene where he does that once, twice, and then everyone starts cheering and like, no, stop. Let me do that again. He does that again and up chillao.
Oh God. No, but Abbas, you mentioned you built up coaching so much.
Right.
So I need to bring that down a little bit now. Boman Irani in this movie, all he does is move it, 1-2, move it. That's all he says in the entire film. Like, that is a level of coaching I think everyone should aspire.
But you genuinely love this film.
It's entertaining.
Okay, cool. Nice.
You know, Namaste
London.
It makes no sense, but it's entertaining. So,
Okay, cool. It's a weird comparison, but sure, I'll go ahead with it. Shlok, do you have a film?
So, I mean, definitely being a football fan, I can never choose anything other than goal, which is the
good one.
It's a Dandanathan goal.
Without the Dandanathan.
This is about this kid he's from the United States. He's staying there, but he's from a poor family, and he wants to become a footballer. And someone scouts him. He sees him that he's a very good player, and he calls him all the way to England. And he tells him that you come, and we'll see if we can get you selected. Right. Now the thing is that he knows if he goes to England, he doesn't have money to come back home. It's going to be very difficult for him to do that. So it's a chance he's taking that. Ye hona hi hai. Like this has got to happen. Right. So he goes and he starts playing for them. Of course, he has asthma because has to have one problem. Exactly. How do you make it interesting? So he has asthma. There's this one player he has a tiff with him. So when he is playing his proper game, the one that will get him selected, his own teammate steps on his asthma pump, and this guy he loses his chance and things like that. But then the guy who scouted him
got very interested in the asthma pump because the asthma pump got under the shoe.
There's a similar movie, but it's not football, it's cricket. It's called Chain Khulegi Main Khulegi.
Oh, dude.
Where his
I have no idea what this is.
I'll tell you later.
But go ahead.
Yeah. So then, so after that, he somehow, the guy who had got him all the way here, he fights for him, he manages to get him another chance. And of course, he proves himself, he gets them to the top 4 and things like that. So that's how the movie ends.
You've told me the entire movie now. I don't feel like watching the movie.
I mean, come on.
Did this also have a sequel? There was a goal 2?
There's a goal 2 and there's a goal 3, which is just don't count it. Just don't count it as a film.
Right.
Okay.
Was this at all influenced by a real...
No, this is just Santiago Nunez's story.
Nunez.
It is, my God, it's bad. It's bad.
I know, it's just...
it captured my imagination many years ago. I agree with Shlok, but...
It hasn't aged well.
It's like a, 12-year-old's favorite sports film. Like, it stuck with me then. Right. But if you ask me as a film, do you really like it? Come on. It's just too much like, okay, ye hoga. You know the story from the beginning. And like what Karthik said is about most films. Sometimes that takes away from the film. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the film is still itself, like something like a Coach Carter. You obviously know what's going to happen, but my God, what a film.
But to be fair, here Santiago goes and plays with Zidane, Figo, Beckhams of the world.
But that's a goal too.
That's in goal too. He joins from Newcastle, where he joins initially, as Shlok mentioned. Then he moves to Madrid. And you see him play, and those are moments you want to stand up and cheer.
It's not realistic. But then like as a kid, as the one who plays FIFA is making a career mode. Like pehle main ye club mein gaya, then I went to this club. It's fun to watch. It's fun to sit and then imagine that this is me, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Right. But then again, just one thing I wanted to defer to is that now how he mentioned that this is how a particular story should go and things like that. But you look at this film Friday Night Lights, okay? It's based on a web series.
Al Pacino's greatest performance, I think.
Yeah.
No, not Friday Night. That was Taking Back Sunday.
Sorry. So Friday Night Lights. Now, in that film, it's like, some people are highly obsessed over this college football, American football team. Right. Okay, and they just want them to win, and they're not as good. The team is simply not as good, but the fans are just like mad, like, you have to win. And the players are like, dude, what do you expect out of us? Right. And then the main player's injured. So like, how are they going to win without him? So they see that, there's struggle, that they're trying to get better, they're trying to get motivated. And normally in such a film, in the end, you'd expect, like, the victory or something like that. And now, I mean, it's been a long time since the film's here, so spoilers for you. They don't win. But you still are stuck with the same sympathy, the same emotion, the same feeling of triumph at the end of the film. And it's a very great example of winning isn't everything.
Right. Actually, even in Moneyball, there's no triumphant victory in the end. Yeah. But when I was researching sports movies, there's a weird commonality that I found is that boxing movies tend to have that prestige with them. You think of Rocky, you think of The Fighter, you think of $1 Million Baby, Raging Bull, right? Is it because it's a weird hand-to-hand? You need to be built a certain way and have a certain mental strength for that kind of sport than, let's say, a team sport.
And it's probably literally being knocked down and getting back up again, like in the literal sense, in the visual sense. So I think it lends well to cinema as a whole, boxing films. And most of them, I think all of them that you mentioned are awesome movies.
Really good films, since I can think of 2 Bollywood films, sports films that I really liked, which I think were genuinely well made. The one, of course, the most popular one is Chak De India, which is about a coach who leads the Indian women's hockey team to victory. The other was Iqbal, which is about this, young deaf and mute kid from a village. I think of that as like the perfect Indian sports film because it's like pride ourselves from, like, there's this whole thing about that Pakistan gets its fast bowlers from the streets, right? And any street you go to in India also, kids are always playing cricket. And cricket is so famous, it's in every nook and cranny. So the idea of a deaf and mute kid from an unprivileged background with so much against him and an ex-cricketer coming back, like, it's a very hero's journey kind of a
That was the Shreyas Talpade.
That was the Shreyas Talpade film, yes. Very good film.
What about Mary Kom and Bhag Milkha Bhag?
I haven't seen either, so I can't comment on them. There is go ahead.
Do they qualify as sports film?
Yeah, of course they do. Yes. There's this film by Anurag Kashyap called Mukkabaz, which I have seen, which is also very good. It's about a boxing champion in India, and it highlights how poorly sports organization and sports people are treated, but it doesn't fetishize it. Like, it's always in the background that there's a tournament going on, there's no one in the stands, but they don't call it out. So I think that was very nicely and subtly
done. If you're talking about boxing movies, I can't resist myself.
Abhineet?
Yes, I knew this was coming. It's a good movie.
Okay. See, to each their own. I can't.
There's Bobby Deol dancing on stage with one arm.
And that is a good movie according to you. Okay.
The music is given by him.
So in that sense, does Jannat also count or what for you?
Jannat? Yeah, it's
Jannat also counts.
I haven't seen Jannat either.
Betting?
Yeah, betting.
It's sports.
Okay.
Cool. Different kind of sport.
Yeah, corruption in sports is a good topic to deal with. There's a very cheesy film from the 90s. I don't know if anyone of you seen it. It's one of Amir Khan's earliest films. It's called Awwal Number, and it has a very young Amir Khan who's a young and upper.
So if I can interrupt you, Abbas, there, Awwal Number is the name of episode 1 of Football Shootball.
Okay, and it's an homage to.
It's a week. 2 homages to Bollywood on each of our episodes.
Okay.
So, our number because it's 1 and it is the name. So, continue,
Yeah, please watch it. It's Aditya Pancholi is essentially coke-snorting, promiscuous, sex-having star of the Indian team.
So, he's Aditya Pancholi.
More or less, yes. And Amir Khan is the young novice who's supposed to take his place. And somewhere in all of this is also Dev Anand, who plays a mentor to not the Dev Anand that he speaks, but the Dev Anand in his 70s trying to train Amir Khan to become Awwal Number. Yeah. And there's also a film called Chamatkar. I don't know if you know this. Yes. Chamatkar is
Shah Rukh Khan, no?
Yeah, where a ghost is training. Yes. So yeah, what else?
I think now we're just calling anything.
Lagan, the best Bollywood movie on sport, on everything.
That is true. Yes.
Who was your favorite character from the whole movie?
Kachra only.
Nice.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. So you had Bhuvan, who was the everything of the team, the overall all-rounder.
See, I just know 4 characters.
Who was the guy who defected and then came back?
Lakha.
Yes. What was his speciality? He was a bowler.
I think he's the one that spins his hands like...
No, that was Gorkhan. No, that's the guy who keeps spinning this and then...
Kachra has that Muralidharan one.
Kachra has that.
Lakha, I think he did the Dil Scoop thing.
Lakha, I think, was the Michael Bevan of the team. Like, he stayed at the wicket to support Bhuvan on the ground. Who was your favorite?
Kachra.
Oh, Kachra was your favorite. Okay. Kachra couldn't bat though. He was number 11.
Yeah.
It works. Like his name is Kachra.
Okay then.
There was this movie. It's called 21.
Okay. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
about
The
this.
cards one, yeah.
Oh,
Do
does
you-
that qualify as sport?
I wanted to ask that same.
I don't
thing.
think so.
Oh,
Cards,
cards
the
is
same way
it's like game and a
chess
sport
a
are two
sport.
different things.
Yes,
it is.
chess. You know,
No,
the
chess
other
is
day
not a
on Water Play, we were talking about chess, and in, I guess, 3 hours, one guy who's playing chess, player, he uses around like 6,000 calories.
Yeah, there's a beautiful article by this journalist Susan Nainan. I think that's the article you're referring to. I think everyone should go and read it.
Yeah.
Again, if you're recommending, it's about how chess players go through mental, physical fatigue and the diet that they follow. It's superb.
But how is it? How physical fatigue?
I think in terms of just sitting there
Sitting
in
there.
a place for that
Actually.
You have to
long.
maintain that posture. Like,
That is true. Can I recommend some wrestling films, guys? Because that's the only sport, the
Dangal?
fake one that I follow. Dangal I haven't seen. I'll recommend this film called The Wrestler.
Oh yeah, Mickey Rourke.
With Mickey Rourke. It's a beautiful exploration of a wrestler who's past his prime, and so now things. You talk about the WWE, which is the biggest company which does this. Their medical policies have gotten slightly better, but a couple of years back, once the wrestler left the company, they lived really shit lives because they put their bodies on the line night after night for almost a decade, which takes a toll on everything in their personal lives, in their medically as well. And this movie wonderfully takes one such sample case and portrays it. And the other is this documentary called Beyond the Mat, which basically follows the behind the scenes stuff that happened during the Attitude Era, and it has it has The Rock when he was like really young. So the filmmaker basically just went to see behind the scenes how the World Wrestling Federation does what it does. Interestingly, half of the movie was made with the WWF on board, and once the film was released, Vince McMahon completely backed off and said that he doesn't support the film. That's a very interesting take. Anyone else, guys?
Vince
Anything
McMahon
else?
screwed someone over.
Sorry?
Vince McMahon screwed someone over is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Tell me something new.
Closing comments, guys.
I
Karthik.
just have one thing to say. So, when you told me that we were talking about sports documentaries, you have this Wikipedia page of the best sports documentaries / films.
Right.
The top, for some reason, is Fast and the Furious. I do not know, on Wikipedia, I do not know how that's a sports film.
car racing.
Oh, well, it's cars and it's competition, so...
Talking about WWF, there was this Bollywood movie with Undertaker.
Khiladiyon
Khiladiyon ka Khiladi. Does that count?
Man, Abhineet, your Bollywood knowledge is like deep.
Seriously.
Does that count as a?
But wasn't that some fake Undertaker and the real guy didn't come in this?
I think that it was.
That was the rumor. No, I'll tell you why that was the rumor, because subsequently the real WWF was running a storyline which had a fake Undertaker going against the real Undertaker.
Okay.
So as school kids, they
This was a crossover.
And somewhere around this time, the WWF was also going to tour India. So it was all like all those things converging together.
Wow,
That's why.
imagine like music rings and Akshay Kumar walks out to save.
Cool. All right. That was our episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Abhineet, we learned a lot about what a sports movie really is. Thanks to you. That was our episode, guys. Karthik, once more, where can one listen to your Football Shootball? Anything you want to say about the show?
On the IVM platform or anywhere else you get your podcast, Football Shootball is a weekly show about football, about Bollywood. It's 3 of us, and we want all of you to come hang with us. We release every Wednesdays, sometimes on Thursdays. Keep track of the IVM feed for that. But that's only because there are sometimes games happen on Mondays, and we would like to cover everything for anyone who's listening to us. It's a lot of fun. So join us every Wednesdays or Thursdays.
Cool. Alright guys, very quickly before we wrap up, I'll quickly give out our social media handles. You can follow IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We are at IVM Podcasts across the board. You can follow me personally on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at Abbas. Abhineet, where can one find you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram. I'm Abhineet Mandal, that's without space.
Shlok?
You can follow me on Instagram at Shlok Chaturvedi, again without spaces.
Karthik, you want to give out your social handles?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at iRant, which is IYERANT.
Alright guys, cool. We'll see you next week with a brand new topic and a brand new set of recommendations. Till then, keep listening and bye-bye.
Bye.
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे पॉडकास्ट लगते हैं. नाम है फुटबॉल शूटबॉल.
Presenting Football Shootball, a show about three friends discussing our favorite game over a beer. Sometimes 3, maybe even 5. Hi, I'm Shiva, and with me are my 2 sidekicks, Gaurav Sapre and Karthik Iyer.
Sidekick? You mean like Batman's Robin or Van Persie Robin?
No, I mean like Alexis Sanchez, but with a little more skill than just playing the piano.
Ha! Just shows how the best players at Arsenal are mere bench warmers at United.
Oh, thank you, Iyer. But you're a Fulham supporter, so whenever you say anything to support me, I question my beliefs.
Just like how Griezmann would say, एक बार मैंने जो decision ले लिया, तो मैं अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता.
Banter aside, we will talk match reports, transfer rumors, top controversies, fantasy football picks, and so much more. So grab a beer and tune in to Football Shootball every Wednesday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the amazing story of something awesome. Once Chuck decided to start a podcast, and so he did. The end. Okay, that was a crappy story. But I've got some really cool stories over at my new show, The Origin of Things. On this podcast, I look at the stories of how brands came into being and sometimes evolved out of quite unexpected circumstances. And to make it really fun, I reveal the name of the brand and sometimes a category only at the very end. The show is 5 to 7 minutes per episode and perfect for trivia junkies and brand nerds, especially those with short attention spans. New episodes out every Wednesday on IVM Podcasts app or website, or any podcast app or site that you happen to prefer. End of story, they lived happily ever after.